easy to make and modular prison cell walls with working cell door. That's this week on Tabletop Witchcraft. Hey there, and welcome back to Tabletop Witchcraft. This week, we're working on some modular prison cell walls. The door on these swings open and closed. It's held in there with magnets. You can grab the plans to how to make these in the description below, along with all your Tabletop Witchcraft merchandise. T-shirts, mugs, grab a mug for your coffee, or to hold or clean your paintbrushes. Beach season's right around the corner, grab a beach towel. Help support the channel, I really appreciate it. So with that, let's grab some supplies and let's get crafting. So you can find the plans for the prison walls in the description below. They're going to help you with the bar layout as well as the foam structures for the top and bottom supports. Now you're going to need 2 supports per prison wall. And once you have those, just texture them either with this roller. I'll put a link up above on how to make that. Or you can just use some aluminum foil. Now this is just, obviously some stonework drawn in on these foam supports. And you'll need to draw this pattern wrapping around the foam here on one piece, and on the other you'll only need to do it on the top and the sides. Obviously because the bottom, we're not going to worry about the stone pattern. Now when I cut the barbecue skewers to fit into the foam, you can see how thin that foam is on the top. And it might look like, you don't have enough meat there to kind of grab and hold this together, but it's a very sturdy piece once it's done. So just cut a little bit of an angle, just enough to kind of poke into the foam. And then what I like to do is, mark one of these up with a marker here and use that as my stencil to make sure that I'm using the same one for every cut. That way I'm not having an effect where, I have a little bit of an error and it's just compounding over time. So as long as you use one bar for all of them, you'll be all set. Now using a toothpick or a clay sculpting tool, anything you got, cutting this stencil out will allow you to get a proper even placement for all of the gel cell bars. And now pushing in with just a little bit of that barbecue skewer, it's going to press into the foam, but it's going to want to kind of push back out. So using this hot wire knife, you can use a heated pin or you can carve these out. Just make a little bit of room for each barbecue skewer. Now the first one was for a solid bar, this one is for the door. You see I left a few of those holes out, and that's for the swing door to fit in place. Now on the bottom, you can press into this some 3/4 inch washers. That's what you see here, just to add some weight so that it doesn't tip over when you're using it. And you can press into this, or you can hold them in place, obviously, and sketch it out with a pen. That way you don't deform the base. And once you have those marked out, you've seen this in a lot of my videos, score it out with an X-Acto knife, and then using the clay sculpting tool, you can just carve out the unwanted foam. And as you know, I love using hot glue. It's a fast method to kind of keep you moving. And really, 1 or 2 per hole there for the washes is all you need. Now you can use tacky glue here. Again, I like to use hot glue just to keep moving. And watch the depth here that I'm going to get on the barbecue skewer. Not that much, but really that is all you need. Any excess hot glue can get whisked away with a metal, wood, or clay actually sculpting tool. It'll stick right to it. Now once you have one section all hot glued in, this method here again will keep us moving yet glue everything in place. So put tacky glue in all the holes except the 2 outer ones. And you want to pre-fit this to make sure you've dry runned it and you're good to go and you're comfortable. Once you get a little hot glue in that first hole, press it in place and then kind of really just go for it, pressing and manhandling all these barbecue skewers until they're in all the holes that you had pre-tapped. And obviously leaving out that last hole there, we're gonna go and add a little hot glue and stick that one in place. And now those two end ones are gonna hold this whole piece together so we can keep moving. And just use a Q-tip to clean up all the excess tacky glue. Now this is for the prison cell wall that has the door. We're going to use some tiny little magnets. You can find the magnets in the description below, along with all these tools, to my Amazon links if you want to pick any of those items up. Now just a little bit of hot glue in that hole there will hold it in place. And if you can, you don't really want to add glue on top of that, maybe just a little tiny bit, because we want these magnets to glide on top of each other so that the door will rotate smoothly. And this was the same method, obviously, as the other one, without the jail bars there in the middle. Now there's a magnet in the top and bottom on that last section there. Now this is the cell wall that we're going to add the magnets to, or the jail bar. Little super glue on that small magnet, a little accelerant on the other end of that skewer, and just press it and hold it in place for a few seconds, and it is solid and locked in place. Now I've cut three other, using the stencil, 3 other skewers here for the door. I've hot glued those just like I did this one right onto the paper, and as you can see, this skewer with the magnets comes out to the same length as the other 3 wooden skewers. Now I'll put a link up above to my green stuff crafting video, which will show you how to make these door handles. I make a whole bunch of those ahead of time with leftover green stuff. As you can see, it really keeps you moving, and it's a nice thing to have. Now, real quick, a note, place this door handle below the bar, not on the top. I glued this in place on top, and right as I was just about to finish the whole project, I realized it was in the wrong spot. You want that handle on the bottom of that center crossbar. It just looks a lot better with the scale of miniatures. So I'll just hit this up with a little bit of Mod Podge mix and black paint. And I've been getting a lot of good feedback on labeling my my paints here in the background, so I'm going to try and keep doing that in all my videos. And as you can see, I'm dry brushing and doing all the stone work here, and I'm not worrying about any of the metal work yet. I only did the metal work on the separate jail cell door. It's gonna make things a lot easier when it comes to painting this piece. It's a pretty standard, stone look here. So once we have all the base coat painted, we do the jail cell bars as well. Then we can go ahead and add our black wash and do the bars for this too, not just the stone. Alright, now this is a little bit of black red paint, a little bit of brown, and I'm just adding some rust effect to the cell walls or the bars here. And obviously you want to add a little bit more on all those joints. And this is some Vallejo pigment. You might have seen me do this method here. Once that brown red paint is on there, it's a mixture of that with some water. I add some of this pigment and it adds a really nice rust effect. You might have seen it in my sewer exit video. I'll put a link up above to that video if you'd like to check that out as well. It's a pretty believable sewer pipe with a lot of rust effect on it. Came out really well. Now this brush is fast becoming one of my favorites for my final dry brush. It's very light and feathery, does an excellent job with a very light dry brush. I actually bought a whole bunch of these after I had this one for only one craft build. And again, I'm really loving these pigments. I'm going through a lot of it, but it really does add some nice color, some nice realistic, dusty dirt effects to the craft. Something that you really can't achieve simply by using paint alone. So, if you've seen my video from last week, you know that I started the hype on a build that I'm currently working on that is going to rival, if not surpass, this epic castle build that I did a few months back. It is coming out totally awesome. It's got a really cool secret playable level. As you know, all the builds that I do come apart so you can play on every single level. And the secret level is really cool. And that's where I incorporate the prison cells from this week's video. I personally did a little modification of those cells for that build, and you can do the same. Now, for the epic build that's coming out in just a couple of weeks, I actually reached out to Reaper Miniatures for this video and mentioned to them what I was doing. I showed them a few works in progress, and they got super excited and wanted to help support that video. So they actually provided a bunch of miniatures for that. So thank you, Reaper. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, or if you're super excited to check out this epic build that's coming out in just a couple of weeks, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out. You do not want to miss this video. Head on over to Patreon. Bunch of tiers over there. You can get some exclusive Patreon-only content. You can join Tabletop Witchcrafts the Coven on Facebook, our private Facebook page, or you can join the contractor tier. Well, I will actually email you the plans for each week's video when they come out directly to your inbox. So, till next time, I'll see you around.